Okay, so this is my Smith & Wesson Model 10-5. I recently got this off a gun broker. This gun, it's a 38 Special. It was made in 1962, and it's still got the original finish on it. It's got a couple little nicks here and there, but other than that, it's in pretty good shape. And as you can see, it's got the old pen barrel. And this gun, I've owned a Performance Center Smith & Wesson, and this gun actually has a nicer trigger than that one did. Check out how light that is. And don't worry for you safety Nazis out there, I cleared the gun before I made the video, obviously. Just a little bit of history of this gun. This gun's kind of amazing. It actually first went into production in 1899, and they still make this same gun today. It was only out of production for a brief hiatus for about 2 years in World War I, when the federal government took over the Smith & Wesson factory and they were making only 45 caliber model 1917 revolvers. That was the only time they weren't in production. And this gun, it saw action in both World Wars, Korea, and even Vietnam. And as far as I know, American aviators, fighter pilots and aircrew members were still carrying Model 10s until 1985, when the military phased revolvers out completely for the Beretta 92. The guns went through a handful of minor changes over the years, but nothing major. They've had pen barrels and crush fit barrels. They've changed sights and a few little things, but other than that, it's largely the same gun that they first started making in the late 19th century. And they've changed the name a couple times. It was the 38 M&P when it first went into production. Then it was the Victory model, and then finally in the 50s it became the Model 10. And they had a number of different barrel lengths. You could get it in a 2-inch snub-nosed, 4-inch like this one, a 6-inch target, and then at one point they designed the heavy barrel version of it. It's just got a little thicker barrel on there. And gosh, it's been in production over 100 years. There was over 6 million of these produced. They built more of these than just about all their other guns combined. And this gun was the most common police gun of the 20th century for decades. Police departments were still using these in the 1980s, when they were going from the transition from revolvers to semi-automatic pistols. There's good, basically this is the most combat-tested revolver ever made. And compared to the Colt competitor, the Police Positive at the time, went out of production in 1947, and 70 plus years later, Model 10 is still being made, and it's really stood the test of time. It's just amazing little gun, because they're not super fancy or exotic, but they get the job done. I mean, the only thing that kind of sucks is it just has the old-fashioned gutter sight, fixed front sight. But as you can see, it's a very carryable gun. You just load that with some good 38 plus P ammunition, and you're ready to go.